This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Always follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Good to have you on board. Thanks for watching YouTube TV, listening Sirius XM, channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our great affiliates. We're going to go Hardcore Masters here. The event begins in a couple of days as VSiN's very own Wes Reynolds joins the program now. A very popular podcast that he is on with Kelly Bidlin and Matt Brown as well is called Long Shots. You get it every single week. It's part of the podcast network that we have here at VSiN as well. Wes, great to talk to you, my man. How are you today?
Good to be with you guys. How are you?
Doing really well. Been reading a lot about the event going into the season, trying to take in as much as possible, and what trends might actually be a thing when it comes to the Masters. What sticks out to you? How much stock do you put into some of these trends?
Yeah, because a lot of them, Mitch, a lot of these trends are just noise, basically. And they're kind of like Mr. Obvious. You know, somebody had, basically somebody's a good golfer. Like that's the trend. They've had a top 10 or a top 15 finish. Well, nobody really comes out of nowhere, seemingly, if you look at recent years, to win the Masters. Like, they've all been proven quantities. You can go back to 15 years. I think it was like Charles Schwartzel. Well, he was 29th in the world. So you're not going to get a guy that's rated like 100th in the world to win the Masters or something like that. So in terms of trends, maybe they're a little more statistics oriented. 16 in the last 17 ranked top 50 or better on the tour, whatever given tour for driving distance. And I think that's going to matter here. This is almost 7,600 yards. This is a long, hilly course with a lot of undulations. It's a long walk for these guys, even guys as fit as some of these players are. So you're going to have to get it out there. So that takes some names maybe that you would think could win this thing, but they just don't hit it long enough to me. So that's something I certainly look at. And then, how guys have done in certain different areas, how guys especially have done around the green, I think is really going to matter this week. Okay. Because the players are going to hit these greens 60% of the time, maybe even a little bit less. So you're going to have these approach shots that are good shots that are going to hit the green. It's like, okay, good shot. And then it's going to keep rolling and rolling off these fast greens. And then all of a sudden you got like a 30-yard pitch or a little tricky chip out of a short grass around the green. So I think strokes gained around the green is going to really matter. And the last 5 winners have been 1st, 3rd, 7th, 1st, and 9th for strokes gained around the green during their winning week. So that and scrambling, I think, are going to matter a big deal this week. Okay, well, we're going to get into your selections coming up here in a minute. I also want to ask you, how much stock do you put into course form, specifically here at the Masters, compared to pretty much every other event throughout the entire year? And then also compare that to recent form overall, which you were touching on there anyway. Yeah, Mitch, I probably go a little bit more course form heavy, certainly here, because this is the only major championship where it's played at every single course. So guys that tend to play well here over the years continue to play well and beyond, like they're consistent cut makers. I'll just throw an example out there, like Justin Rose, 20 appearances here, 17 made cuts. So... And I put that in the Masters A to Z profiles that are up at VSiN.com. So when you're looking at guys that maybe not to outright, but top 10s, top 20s, top 30s, you want the consistent cut makers here. And Rose has 12 top 20s in 20 events. So I think course form matters. There's always outliers. Like you look at somebody like Ludwig Oberg, who has only played here 8 rounds, but he's finished 2nd and 7th. So some guys take to this place, but I do think course form maybe matters a little bit more than recent form, like in most weeks.
Will there be a hole in one? Yes, $1.50.
Well, yes, I don't usually bet that, Pauly, but yes is probably the fun bet. You got to think it's going to happen, but I don't know. Like in round one of the things with the weather, the wind is going to blow a little bit more in round 1 than it is for the subsequent 3 rounds over the weekend. So it will be maybe a little bit gustier on Thursday, but in terms of the weather forecast, it looks ideal. Sunshine, no rain. Yeah. It's going to be firm and fast. That's what it always is at Augusta National. And they'll water the course too. They hadn't had a lot of rain down there in the area, so it won't be soft, but this thing's going to be firm and fast, and balls are going to roll through the fairway. Not that this rough is very deep. It's only about like 1.5 inches on average, this ryegrass rough. So this is not U.S. Open rough. So you don't get penalized as much for missing fairways here as you would at some of the other majors.
The score of the first round leader, 65.5, and the lowest round of the tournament, 64.5. What say you?
Well, I lowest round, I could definitely see an under because I think that these conditions are going to certainly be ideal. But the wind blowing a little bit, I'm a little bit gun shy in saying that somebody's going to shoot 65 or somebody's going to shoot 64 because what was the first round leader last year? I believe Rose.
That was Rose, yeah.
Who's been, I think, the leader or the co-leader like 7 times in his career at the Masters. So that's going to be a popular bet. He shot 65 and he was 3 clear of the field. So I would almost look to an over. Maybe 67 is going to be your leader after round 1.
Now, how many props overall do you concentrate on? Again, I just tweeted out your story. You put it up, you write up every single week at VSiN.com. You break down the stats, the trends, the weather, the course, yada, 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 and your outright selections overall. How many props will you have with the Masters, or do you just look at outrights and placements?
No, I'll have a few, Mitch. And what I've been doing this year, and it's actually been more successful because the outright market hasn't been as good to me this year. So I've been having to kind of separate a day where I do my placements, where I do my top 10s, my top 20s, and my 30s. And that's basically most weeks how I've been breaking even or even making money are on those. So I'll do the same thing. Those will be up at VSiN.com/picks tomorrow in terms of the placement markets. But I will play a few of these props, like one that Paul and I we're talking about before we came on air for the segment is the top debutante market. Mm-hmm. And that's always a very popular market. And I took the second choice on the board. Chris Gotterup, of course, is the favorite, who's won like 3 times in the last 10 months. And he's won twice already this year, including at Phoenix. And he's the rightful favorite. But I went to the second guy. I went to Jacob Bridgman, who's at about plus $6 or $6.50, somewhere in that range. He won the closest event to the Masters Prep this year, and that was at the Genesis at Riviera. And if you look over the years, there's a big correlation between Riviera and Augusta. A lot of guys have won at both places. Phil, Dustin Johnson, Bubba Watson, Adam Scott, Hideki Matsuyama, several others. So I thought that was kind of a good tell on Bridgman. He's one of the top putters on the tour this year. He hasn't finished worse than 18th in any event this season. So that is one I've played. I'll probably end up on a couple nationality markets, maybe like a low senior or something like that. So I will have at least a few for this event that I wouldn't have at a normal PGA Tour event. Okay.
Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Wes Reynolds, our guest. Again, his player profiles are up at the website, VSiN.com. His analysis, the stats that matter, his outrights, again, at the website. I just tweeted that out as well. Before we get to your selections overall, give me some guys, and this is probably not a very easy process, but some guys at the top of the leaderboard where you kind of had to draw a line through because you can't have, obviously, everybody on your betting card.
Well, one that I think was obvious, and it's not necessarily a fade, but Colin Morikawa, who clearly has drifted now up to 35-1. This guy was probably going to be anywhere from 15 to 20 to 1 last month, and then he had the back issue where he had to withdraw from the players. I've just been looking and searching the social media, and the ball speed is down. Like, he's been hitting stuff on the practice tee, and like the longest drive, they weren't all drivers, obviously, but the longest drive he hit was like barely over 280. And I don't think that's going to fly here at Augusta. So that tells me, and the fact that he withdrew last week from the Valero, maybe he's not quite 100%. So he's a guy I didn't play. Rory has been battling a little bit of the back issue. Remember, he withdrew from the Arnold Palmer and then was like 46th or something around there at the Players. So, and plus he's a defending champion, and no one's defended since Tiger in 2002. So I typically don't like to play the defending champion at the Masters. So those were 2 immediately that I decided, okay, they're not making my card. I may not fade them in matchups, but they're not making the card.
I like that. That's strong. That ties into like March Madness. These guys, the defending champ, rarely even finishes inside the top 10. That's another one going back.
Yeah, no question about it. Because you got all that responsibility. You got the champions dinner, and you got all the media, and then you have a British tabloid putting out your marriage issues. That was a clickbaity article, so I'm sure he really liked seeing that as he arrived to Augusta yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Now, you're right. I mean, like Rory, never really considered this year. A lot of things go into that. You kind of summed it up right there. Also, at the very top, I mean, I couldn't even consider Scotty at the number. There's no way. I mean, the only way to look at him to me would be something live if he falls apart again in the first round to maybe have him bounce back and finish like top 10 or top 20. How about you?
Yeah, nothing that I considered. And maybe a placement, but the thing with Scotty, you were kind of waiting for him to figure it out because he's led the planet in strokes gained approach for like the last 3 years,
Yeah.
right? Number 1 every year. This year he's number 80. And then when you looked at the scoring average, when I was going through the stats and doing the A to Z profiles, and I got to Scheffler, and I looked last year, he led in round 1, round 2, round 3, and round 4 scoring average. This year, in round 1 scoring average, he's like 96th right now. So he's shooting about 70 and a half, let's call it. So that's 3 strokes worse than he was last year. And of course, he just had little Remy, his second child. So maybe that changes and there's a nappy factor there, and that puts him in a good frame of mind. But yeah, Scotty just has been down from, I think, dominating the golf world. It's not like he's played horribly. He's already got a win at the American Express, and he's not finished worse than 24th in any event. But yeah, not for me. I think 6-1 is probably fair based on how many of the casual bettors will bet him. But his true price to me would be, gosh, a lot closer to John Rahm than the odds board would indicate.
Okay. I didn't realize that, by the way. He led in every single round scoring last year.
Yes.
That's bonkers. That really is.
Only one way to go, but down, right?
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. All right, so great stuff there. We're going to continue here. Wes Reynolds, he's on the Progressive guest line. Again, his write-ups are awesome every single week, and they're on the website right now at VSiN.com. He's got player profiles for everybody. He's got a great write-up on the Masters right now with his selections, which we are going to get to coming up next, and we will ask him the winner of this year's event will be which golfer next.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue here with Wes Reynolds. Great write-ups on the Masters available right now at vsin.com. He's on the Progressive guest line. Also, he does podcast here weekly on golf with Matt Brown and Kelly Bidlin called Podcast. You can check that out this week as well. All right, then let's get to your selections here. And I'll ask this. The golfer, the shortest shot on the board that you attacked it with this week, and then as a result, if you could only make one bet, would it be this guy to win it outright? Who would that be?
Yeah, John Rahm was my shortest guy, and he's right near at the top of the board. And that's the thing with the Masters, too, guys. Everybody wants to hit the bombs, but if you look, it's class players. I mean, it's been Rory, Scotty, Rory, Scotty, and Rahm, and then Scotty. So those are elite players. So you're not getting a lot of these dark horses. Consider what Rahm has done this year, his form line. I know it's been on live and it's been in the middle of the night, maybe not the toughest courses. 2-2-1-5-2 are his 5 events this year. That is an average finish of 2.4. So I think his game's in pretty darn good shape, and he's going to be, I think, excited to play here because it's going to kind of be like, hey, remember me? You know, I know you don't see me very often, but he now knows, and he's in that mind frame too. And I think that's another thing that's kind of being overlooked here with him. He now knows that there's a path back to the PGA Tour because he's seen Brooks Koepka come back and Patrick Reed's coming back. When he first came back to Augusta after he joined LIV in 2024 and he was defending champion, he was having like misgivings and being asked about it like, oh, did I really make the right move? Now it's like, okay, the move's been made. Now I just got to go play. So John Rahm is my shortest guy. I would use him in a one and done because I think you got to use a premium player. That's what you save him for if you're in one and dones at the Masters. But I don't know if he would be like my one hitter quitter necessarily to bet for an outright, even though I would use him as a one and done.
Okay. Then how about the next guy on the board? He's around 18 or 20 to 1. Who do you like?
I do like Xander here, who's not getting I think a ton of buzz. Like, that doesn't mean he's not getting selected or used on anybody's cards, but he's not getting the buzz that a Rahm or a DeChambeau or a Rory or somebody like that, or Ludwig Gobert would be getting. But he had a bad season last year because he got off to a late start because of that rib injury. But he still won late in the year in Japan, had top 10s at the Masters and at the Open, 3 top 7s in his last 4, including the third at the Players. He was the guy I had to dodge with Young and Fitzpatrick and Ludwig that I was worried was going to upset the apple cart, but was just a number 2 short. Top 10 at Augusta, 5 of the last 7 years. I think he's kind of peaking at the right time. This is a guy, he's definitely a use for top 10 and top 20. If you don't want to bet him outright, like that's almost like, I hate to use the L word, but that's close. Top 10, top 20 for Xander. I think you definitely want to bet him in a placement market because he always seems to figure it out even when he gets off to slow starts.
All right, 23, 24 to 1 range. I really like Fitzpatrick, top 20, but give us 2 golfers who you got in that 23, 24 to 1 range.
Yeah, I'll start with the 2 guys that actually were right in the mix, 1-2 at the Players Championship, and let's go 1 first, and that's Cameron Young, who I really like him this weekend. I had him at the Players. We knew he was going to win somewhere big time this year after how, he finally got that monkey off his back and won that first PGA Tour event. He was best guy on the Ryder Cup team for the U.S., although that's a low bar. But still, in a big event, he showed out. And then he wins the Players. And even going into that, he was T3 at the Arnold Palmer. He was T7 at the Genesis, both signature events with good fields. 6 major championship top 10s in the last 4 years. And maybe this trend is ultimately meaningless. Maybe it's a coincidence or a pattern. I don't know. But the last 2 Players winners, of course, were Scotty and Rory. They went on to win the Masters. So let's see if Young makes it 3 for 3. And then, Pauly, you mentioned Fitzpatrick. The resilience he showed to win the Valspar the very following week after kind of had his heart ripped out at the Players when Cameron Young makes that birdie on the island green and then hits the longest drive ever in the history of the Players Championship at 18. But 3rd for tee to green, 7th on approach, 7th on total strokes gain. He's never really been right there here, even though the record's fairly solid in terms of making cuts. But this is the best golf Fitz has played in several years. I think Fitz is going to do very well this week.
My guys in Dallas love Pat Reed. And what do you think here? Polarizing guy, and also polarizing here for this event. Human says no shot. He's drifted out to 43 to 1. This is, again, course history here and another winner. I like the price.
Yeah, Pauly, I think he's drifted because he hasn't played in a month. He's playing a semi-full-time schedule on the DP World Tour where he's got that lifetime membership. He can come back to the PGA Tour, I believe, at the end of August. Won twice this year, one in Dubai, one in Qatar, and was runner-up in Bahrain. Inside the top 4 here in 2 of the last 3 years, while he wasn't even playing near the quality of golf that he'd been playing. Like, you were watching the coverage last year, and it's like, where'd he come from? All of a sudden, he's 3rd. How did that happen? But that's what Patrick Reed does. He just knows his way around this place. And there's something to that. Like, he never really, in terms of the stats, like, he's not always up there. Like, some of these guys, it's like strokes gained approach, strokes gained off the tee, wherever, and they're just on every single list. Patrick Reed wins with the short game. He wins with the scrambling. He wins with the around the green. He wins with his putting. That's just the guy I'm going to trust here, even if the models don't really like him this week.
Some would say like a wood tick,
Yes.
lingers around. All of a sudden, oh my God, where'd that come from on my ankle? Dug into my skin. Now I got to go check for Lyme's disease. Matt Humans loves a nickname for everybody. Maybe that's going to be his new nickname for Patrick Reed. Also, this is a popular golfer. I've heard his name from several people I respect, but you like Min Woo Lee. Why?
I do, and he was the last guy I added because it was my FOMO play. It was down between him and Ludwig Gobert were kind of like my FOMO plays. I ended up with Minwoo, who doesn't come to Augusta on the back of that win like he did in Houston last year, but he's a consistent player. If you go back to like last September, 6 top 10s in his last 12 starts, 7th off the tee, 11th tee to green. I think you've got to be a bomber that kind of can maneuver it all over the place. So I'm going with the chef. We had Chef Curry return on Sunday night. Mm-hmm. Now we got the chef returning to the Masters, so let Minwoo cook.
You do have one bomb here. I think 65 to 1 qualifies as a bomb, yeah?
Yeah, yes. I like this guy.
Yeah, absolutely, because people want to hit them 100, 150 to 1s, but those guys don't win the Masters. They just don't, So, like, I would consider like 40 or 45 to 1 to be a bomb here because it's always a class player. But Akshay Bhatia at 65 to 1, who won the biggest event of his young career, a little over a month ago. Remember, he ran down Daniel Berger, who seemed to have a stranglehold at Bay Hill at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, ran him down on the back nine, and then won in a playoff. 8th on approach, 10th on putting. I didn't like that he went to DLF over there in India to play the Indian Open on the DP World Tour, which that course is a nightmare. Like, that's a bear of a course. That's not the best preparation, but I think a nod to his heritage. He went over there, missed the cut badly. But if you go back to Phoenix, where he really started this run, the form is absolutely phenomenal, I think, for this guy. And he's a left-handed player. So we've seen lefties succeed here. Bubba Watson, Mike Weir, Phil Mickelson. When you can take those different angles and you can hit it in places that other players, that right-handers can't hit it, and you have interesting different angles to the green. Bubba Watson did that all the time. How many times did he find the pine straw and then hit a bullet on approach and win 2 green jackets? I think Akshay kind of fits that similar profile here.
Very good. Love the breakdown, the analysis. Again, all of your picks, your write-ups, your analysis is going to be at VSiN.com, available right now. You're also a Big Ten guy. You love some college basketball. Did you have any Michigan to win the national title?
Very, very small. I had more Arizona on that, but very happy for Indiana's own Dusty May, who worked his way up, assistant for 13 years before he ever got a head coaching job. So was very happy to see that. And what is the Big Ten Conference putting out now? Go big or go home. And everybody else is going home because the Big Ten rules the world right now.
Didn't you think that he had a chance to take the IU job? Wasn't he in the mix a couple years ago?
He should have been, and I think he would have been. But the previous coach, it was mandated that he would get 4 years by a certain former Indiana basketball star that's the head of the University Board of Trustees, who said, if Archie Miller got 4 years, then Mike Woodson gets 4 years. Well, that was 1 year too late to be able to get Dusty May. So the rest is history.
Oh, that stings.
We could have had Dusty May and Kurt Signetti at the same time in Bloomington.
Wow. Okay, well, don't get greedy. Win it outright with the Masters, and you'll call it even, okay? How does that sound?
Absolutely. We'll take it.
All right. Thanks, Wes. Great stuff, man.
Excellent
You bet,
job.
guys. Thank you.
Be good.
They're a football school now. They'll finish, they'll be Team 76 in the next year's March Madness.
Do they win the national title if they hire him? Does he bring on all those players?
I don't know about that.
To Indiana? How do you like this? Michael Malone.
I love the story, though, coming from Florida Atlantic. What do you guess? What do you got?
This just came out. He is a top 5 highest paid coach in the sport already.
Well, it has to be.
$8.3 million over 6 years. A 6-year contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Won a title?
So on average, by the way, clearly 8.3.
I like that they went outside the family. I don't get what Donovan was doing.
Well, that's
I'm not going to talk to you till our season's done, and they couldn't wait, and the season's over Sunday.
Again, portal opened up today.
Look what he's walking into. They fired their GM, the vice president. They're in a total rebuild. I don't get it.
Does he take another job somewhere in college?
He might go to another NBA team.
Okay, yeah, because what a waste here with Chicago.
Yeah.
The owner and CEO of Circa Las Vegas, Derek Stevens, next. How happy is he today? Michigan guy. They won the title last night, and we go right into betting the Masters as well. We'll get who could they be upside down on this week at that event coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Now, this is the definition of a happy camper, I believe anyway. Obviously, from Michigan. His one casino here is called The D, and the Wolverines took down the national title last night in college basketball. I'm guessing good result for you as well here at the book, and so it makes it double happiness, I guess, if you will.
Hey, fellas. Yeah, exactly. We had an interesting situation yesterday. That we were going in good on futures both sides, so we were going to do pretty well on the futures. Had that kind of locked up, and then the game. What happened? We had a good amount of action, a little better than I thought we were going to get, and the two-way came in, and the line moved, and then the line came back, and all of a sudden we were sitting on top of an interesting number. We wanted Michigan to win the game. The house did. I'm talking about. And if they would have covered, like 7.5, been happy. If they would win 1-6, we were happy. But we had a little bit of a hole there on the 7. And the 7 was right in play, right to the end.
What'd you think? I love the move just to fire it down to the other end of the court.
It was,
but
yeah,
if he
when
gets
I saw, like, oh my
there,
God, here we go. Oh,
yes.
That was an unbelievable last 13 seconds how that thing played. Yeah. I was like, oh, I jumped up. Yeah, so we didn't want the 7. The 7 would have hurt the house pretty badly. I found it interesting. There were a lot of people that bought a half point and bought it down and then bought it up, and all of a sudden we had this little gap. But no, everything house-wise played out pretty well, and heart-wise played out pretty well too.
Isn't it funny how many times a game comes down to the number like that?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Right to the very end.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
He's got to bank the 3 in just to have a shot at it, and then, my God, outright anyway. Then they get the ball back. They're down by 4. Caravan has a look.
Yeah.
To cut it to 1.
That got hairy.
Absolutely.
That got hairy. The first time I met you was when you made that bet to win $1 million.
Yeah.
Was it when they played Sister Jean?
Yeah, those are the
and
good old days.
You lost in the final. But
yeah.
now it's just they were just kicking ass and taking names right off the bat. You couldn't get a good number.
I loved taking a big play like that, but I never had a chance to with my team this year because they came in out of the gates, with such a big favorite. And every time I had Michigan, had Michigan State one year, it was always a 25-1 ish. You take it in November, December time frame, but I never had that chance, and I wasn't going to take a really short number. I mean, it is NCAA basketball; you never know what's going to happen. But boy, Michigan just got better and better throughout the season.
Crazy. That's got to be the best Michigan team of all time. Sorry, Pauly.
No, it's a problem.
I mean, they put together 5 transfers to lead the way, and Dusty May, it was really amazing.
Okay, so what do you got? Tell us about For the Win. And we were out at the pool last year broadcasting live. You got the great setup with the food and all the prices, and then tell us about what's going on with the book too. Yeah,
so obviously Masters has turned into a signature weekend here at Circa. So we've got a lot going on with Masters parties, Masters events. We've got our green jacket party on Friday night. A lot of groups coming in for it, and then obviously Saturday and Sunday at Stadium Swim is pretty special here with all the betting on the Masters. I brought our moves. I am just amazed at how much money is coming in on the Masters and some of the big moves. Now, the one interesting thing everybody should know, in the 6 states that Circa Sports is in, we reduce our hold percentage on the Monday. So effectively, unless we saw some big money coming in, almost everybody you had started bumping up. So take Shoffley. So he was at 15-1 yesterday, 15.50. Tommy Fleetwood, 22-1, now 23-1. Fitzpatrick, 20-1, now 21-1. Koepka, 50-1, 52-1. Minwoo Lee, 31-1, up to 33-1. So all of a sudden, these things are. If you look at the big favorite and Scotty Scheffler, we had him at plus 485 yesterday. He's up to plus 515, and it's not like we took money on him. We just ended up reducing that hold percentage. So the players, the golfers that we took money on in the last 24 hours of substance would have been John Rahm, Jordan Spieth, Cam Young, Justin Rose. That's where we saw most of the money come in the last 24 hours.
Okay, so what are the discussions like right now to drift Scotty out there to maybe get a nibble on him? Have you guys thought about moving to like around 6-1 neighborhood?
I think they're going to make another move early tomorrow morning, and it might bump up if we don't get a little Scotty. But right now, I mean, the house wins strong to Scotty. So, I mean, that very well could happen.
It could happen. The worst result would be then which of the 4 that you just talked about?
Cam Young, Justin Rose are the 2 that we have the most liability on as of right now.
Okay. And it's fun just to watch, as you said, the hold percentage you guys will keep changing. And then when you take a big bet on one golfer and you lower his odds, that means a golfer or two or whatever, they have to drift out a little bit more, right, to keep that hold percentage. So just to like look at the odds moving all the time here at Circa for this event is fascinating. And you're probably going to be able to find a golfer in the next 24, I was going to say at least 12 to 24 hours. You're going to be like, oh my God, how is that number that high on him? That happens every single year here at Circa with the Masters.
Yeah, and it's going to happen again. I mean, it's going to happen again. So it's pretty amazing to watch because we change these numbers. So as the money comes in, we take a big bet, boom, it pushes everything else up. So it's pretty amazing the system that Jeff Davis and Chris Bennett have back there, and what now gets really interesting. Now we've got the matchups out there, and the matchup money's coming. I mean, I would say in the last 2 hours, I had a meeting in my office. Probably took 40 bets over 10,000 a pop on matchups alone, just coming across the ticket.
You'll take 10,000 on a matchup already at this point.
Oh yeah, they're flying in. Yeah.
Very strong. Do you go out to Stadium Swim this weekend for the event?
I will. I have a personal situation. I have a good personal situation. My son is getting married on Saturday.
Oh,
is that right?
Wow.
Yes.
All right.
Congratulations. Is that here?
Yes, it is at the local church here. But I will be out as part of his wedding. He's got half a Stadium Swim on Sunday, so I get to double bang it. So I thought there'd be like 40 people that would RSVP. After the wedding, who wants to stay on Sunday?
Uh-huh.
He's got 160 going. That's unbelievable.
What?
Yeah, they're all leaving on Monday. That's pretty cool.
That's a hell of
It
a
is.
crew. That must be the entire wedding then, almost.
No, he kind of he invited a lot of people.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Good.
Tell us more how the night starts here is going, and also how involved it is with you've been on social media and stuff on Instagram. I thought this was great the other day. You did a 90s theme party where you come in and everyone's greeted with the outfits, and then, oh, look at this guy. Look at Steven's dancing.
Oh,
Steven's
my goodness. I can't believe that's public.
A lot more of that this weekend at your son's wedding.
Yeah, there will be. There will be. Yeah, 90s party was that was a Fremont Street deal, and they brought in that group that sings Breakfast at Tiffany's, and the whole street went crazy.
Uh-huh.
It was a lot of fun. It was a pretty good promotion on Easter weekend, so it was a lot of fun to do that. Brought a lot of people in.
Good job.
Are you on pace to have the biggest handle ever for the Masters? I know how you said it was down maybe a little bit for the first weekend of March Madness.
March Madness was down throughout March Madness.
Okay.
Handle was.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm seeing though on Masters though, I think Masters is going to set a record for us. It's just flying in right now.
Okay. Have the Yerfie Nerfies been super popular again to begin the baseball
Yes,
season?
they have. Unbelievable.
Still?
Yeah, it is amazing. And we're taking some big action on those. We took a couple $40,000 Nerfies yesterday. They hit. I mean, we Giants had a Nerfie and a couple guys on in the first inning, one out, couldn't score. But yeah, the action's been strong. And people like parlaying them.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
What are you getting your son for his wedding?
Well, a lot of it has to do with him being here. So, I'm on the hook for a little. I'm on the hook for a lot. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I'm just happy he's doing it here. Makes me happy.
Okay.
Is this the gal that made the run in Circa Millions that he married?
You're correct.
Okay.
You're correct,
All
Pauly.
right. Jump around.
Yeah,
Jump
jump
around.
around. That's right.
All right, good.
Well, have a
job.
great time. Congratulations again this weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Derek.
Appreciate it.
Up next, we'll recap yesterday's betting action and tell you what we've added to the old accounts today with our in-pocket plays on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
The guy has an algorithm system to determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're on.
All right, rough night in the penalty box. These player props have been tough. I don't understand what's going on with some of the minutes in these rotations. Reed just missed over 14.5 points. No good with his player prop. Largest lead in the game cashed under 15.5. Astros up 3-0 in the condolences if he had first 5. Brutal. 3-0 bottom of the 5th and 8th spot for the Rockies. They win 9-7. Allen, I think, finished with 14. Well, he hardly played in the second half.
They scored I didn't even look. He didn't go over. They scored 142 points.
I know. Was he not playing because they shot 63s? And they thought we need different guys out? Because there was a ton of run for Mobley, but every time I looked up, the guy wasn't on the floor. But you're right, they scored all those points, and there was no Harden and no Mitchell. And a nice win for the Sabres, as they had been playing well, but they got the big win against Tampa at home. Pending, Hornets to make the playoffs, no minus 150. You still got a shot here. You have the big game tonight against Boston. They're 7-1 to win the division, but they can definitely get the 7 seed. And if you want to get greedy, maybe the 6. Because if they win tonight, I think they can run the table for the rest of the year. And then the Heat are playing Toronto. A lot of these teams are playing one another.
Let me check
that could happen. Now,
I thought they have a tough schedule, don't they?
No, because the Knicks aren't going to play anybody the final game. And I liked your Friday night matchup too.
Well, okay, so yeah, they have the Pistons on Friday.
Yeah, then they ever have the 1 seed. They're not playing anybody.
At the Knicks on Sunday.
Knicks have nothing to play for. Celtics will have the division wrapped up.
Okay, but it
won't play anybody. I believe you do lose the tiebreaker against
Miami.
Philly.
Oh, for that, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Atlanta has at Cleveland, Cleveland at Miami.
Yeah, going to be tough. But hey, it was 2,500. It's come down.
There reeks of a 3-0 there for the Hawks.
A shot. But the Cavs are supposed to lose to Atlanta to lock in, but we'll see. Warriors to make the playoffs, plus 320. Curry came back, looked awesome Sunday, and he's on a minutes restriction tonight. But the way Portland's been playing, and Portland was great last night. What a comeback by Denver. They just couldn't miss from 3. But concerns about how the Clippers are playing. I still think Curry and the Warriors at that price, not bad. And Fitzpatrick, top 20, $1.30. Golden Knights, 3-0 with Tortorella since they fired Cassidy. $1.50 in regulation to beat the Canucks. First period over, minus 160. Vancouver playing a lot of high-scoring games. And I got to give it a shot here. These numbers are strong. Mariners, $1.18 against the Rangers. When Kirby has faced Texas, Seattle's won his last 10 starts. He is 8-0 with an ERA of 1.04. Eovaldi, last 5 starts, 1-3 with an ERA of 9, and banged up so far this season. See if the offense breaks out of it tonight, and those Kirby numbers are ridiculous. Good luck.
Back at you, Pauly. All right, so yesterday, Astros, Rockies first 5 got their 5.5. Over. So that's 3-0 Houston.
Yeah.
Bottom of the 5th. I will point out that in the top of I think it was the top of the 5th, Yordan Alvarez hit a shot to deep center that would have been a home run in 22 out of 30 ballparks.
Alvarez and Altuve are on fire.
I smell an Alvarez home run coming tonight.
Okay.
Correa in that same inning hit one that would have been out of 20 out of 30 ballparks. I thought, well, now I'm dead. They go to the bottom half. Rockies get him for 8. So over 5.5 first 5, over 10.5 for the game got there. The Hawks money line's a loser, actually. That was a great game, back and forth the whole time. Did you see the end?
Oh, what a game.
McCollum from 65 feet.
I
thought it was good at first to tie the game and go to overtime.
Did I.
He just goes like this. He goes whoosh, like that, chucks it up like that.
Brunson is so good. He's added a new move where he'll fake. And then it looks like he's traveling. Then he'll get you on the pump fake, and he'll go underneath you and try to cut. And he went with his right hand that he actually missed. But he was unconscious in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. So the Hawks was a loser last night. Magic plus 1.5. I will point this out.
That's a bad number. That's just a bad number.
That's the first fishy number on this show in a long time that actually won.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's fair.
It didn't make any sense.
Why would Pistons sat people already had the 1 seed off the big win in their last game. I guess it was priced in because Orlando was on a back-to-back, but they housed them.
Yeah, and that was a rocking chair. So I like those kind of bets. Diamondbacks, Mets first 3 today under 1.5. No, loser 2-0. Some bad defense by both teams. Pending Hornets playoffs, yes, 14-1. Play-in 4-1. Pirates 28-1. Most wins in this month. Braves 18-1. They're scuffling now, by the way. Atlanta. Sale, no bueno last night. Soriano, awesome. New plays here that we have. The Rays and Cubs are underway. I'm on the Rays first 5 minus a half a run plus 105. And this goes with the pitcher. Assad throws heavy sinkers. Rays have been awesome against the sinker ball this year. That ties into it. Also, Rasmussen's going for Tampa. I like that dude quite a bit. They have great numbers overall as a staff. And so I'm on that with the Rays. I'm on Flag tonight over 25.5. Minus 125. I played some alts as well. And this number, to me, still too low. Worth a bet. Cam Schlittler going against the A's here pretty soon at home.
Yep.
A's strike out a ton, 6.5. I got minus 109 when I put that on the VSiN picks page earlier today.
If he goes 5, doesn't give up a run, and allows 2 hits or fewer to be the first pitcher since 1900 to start the season with 3 straight starts doing that. That's saying something.
Yeah, wow.
And I know we're all thinking alike tonight. These prices have plummeted on Flag. Like laddering him as well. So everyone's betting 35, 40, 30. I mean, you got what? You got 2-1.
Not quite 2-1, but I think
almost
it was plus 190 on 20.
Like $1.10 now.
Well, I mean, that's it's probably too popular to be honest at this point.
Yeah, but the shots will be there tonight. Baseball every day. NBA, NHL playoffs coming soon. NFL draft. Sharp Plays covers it all. They've been winning for 15 straight years. All of it documented. Blogs posted publicly, sharpplays.com. When they move, the books take notice. Advanced AI, trusted insider intel. They find the value before the numbers shift. Respected, watched, and feared. Start winning with them. Sharpplays.com. Alerts directly from the pros. Been with us since day one. And the daily Mr. Poison tweets must have. Give them a follow, subscribe, check them out. Sharpplays.com.
Yeah, I'm not going to be betting Yordan Alvarez. He had a home run tonight. I forgot about it, honestly, earlier today. I think he was higher than 3-1 the way it looks, which higher than 3-1 I think would have been a play. I see him as low as plus like 225 to hit a home run tonight. As Matt Vasgersian has always said on this program, these home run numbers are absurd a lot of times.
Yes.
And here Circa looks like the best number available, plus 290.
Yeah.
That guy is smoking hot right now.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited for tonight to see what he does. And it was a good discussion earlier with Julian Edlow. Go back, listen to the podcast if you missed it. I believe it was the correct move for books to go that high once the straw poll came out, Rookie of the Year. And it was 81st place votes to Khan to 20.
There's a week left at that time.
Yeah. I do think it's a mistake after 2 great games to then make him the favorite and go from 11-1 to minus 210 in that range.
Yeah.
Now what happens here the rest of the season? And how's it going to play out? And the other question was, how many people were on the fence, voters? How many were flippable? I mean, that's still a lot of guys would have to flip. And I love what Brian Windhorst said on his podcast that, boy, this is strange by the sports books to just assume we're going to be prisoner of the moment and overreact to a great 2-game performance when they play 80 of these and say, okay, well, he's the Rookie of the Year now. Mm-hmm. But I can't believe what the number's going to. What if he drops 40 again? 45.
Sure. Well,
the number goes
so this will tell you right now. I mean, the opening number last night again was 25.5, with not that much juice. Right now, at every book on my screen, it's either 27.5 with juice or as high as 28.5. So if he goes over this again tonight and let's say he scores 35 tonight, and he takes 25 shots again, the opening number moving forward is going to be, my guess will be 29.5 minimum. I don't think they're not going to say, well, why? If it keeps moving like this.
Get ready for Sunday. They play the Bulls.
Will he beat Bam Adebayo's scoring mark from this year?
How about that? That's why that thing was so fluky and bizarre.
He scored 83 against the Wizards. Played him again. He had 14 or 13, whatever he did.
Yeah.
It's like, and they talked to Heat players. They couldn't be like, why didn't they double him? Why did it take so long? Because he went for 30 whatever in the first quarter.
Yeah, 31.
And they wouldn't double him.
Didn't he have 43?
And then all the fouls.
He had 43 at halftime in that game.
That was so crazy.
The adjusted prop on him was 57.5 at halftime, even money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So VSiN Primetime's next. That's Murray Humans, 4 hours of live betting action. They're going to take you through the night. Into Dustin Sweetelson cashing out for 3 hours. Wake up early tomorrow. Dave and Jensen, 7 a.m. Eastern. Go get him tonight.